strategies, but what I'm getting at is they actually, we take pictures and they look at this and they come up with what works for them. So let's watch just a quick clip here of Michael Hutchinson. This is what we do at a camp. So he's going to look at, we're going to take the puck in all these different zones, and he's going to look from the puck's point of view, because remember, the puck's point of view is different than the shooter's point of view, right? So we're going to take it from the puck's point of view, and he's going to start understanding exactly how much net space he covers. We often say that every position you're in or every save selection you have is a tool. You pull it out of your toolbox, and there's strengths and weaknesses to every single tool that you have. And your job is to understand that. So whichever tool that he pulls out, he knows exactly, okay, this is the coverage I have, this is how much I would have to move, and this is how I can utilize it best. So from these different pictures and video, he's going to make the determination of, how he wants to play and how he's most comfortable in playing, and quite frankly, what position you end up sometimes just by accident.
So, toes on top, heels on top.
So now he's just starting to get that understanding of, hey, if I'm more aggressive, how much bigger do I look in the net? How much more coverage do I have?
Toes on top, three-quarter crease. Toes on top, butterfly, up, three-quarter crease, butterfly.
So you can see how big the goalie is in the net and how little we have to move. And sometimes, by us over-moving or opening up, that's what creates space, and we actually make our own mistakes. I'm sure the next presentation is going to be on goalie equipment's too big or something like that. But you guys just need to shoot better. All right, I have to make this. I got to make this point. So guys will be like, hey, your equipment's too big. Like, there's nowhere to shoot. Oh, yeah? Well, tell your $5 million player not to come hit me right in the chest, right? Shoot it off my pad or create a rebound. So anyhow, you know what side I have to preach on this one, so sorry. Okay. So what I like to do, and what I think is a good strategy, and even you as coaches can do this because you don't have to know the answer. You tell a goalie, you say, okay, what's your game plan? And you give them a sheet like this, and most guys will be like, what do you mean game plan? You can tell them, hey, there's no right or wrong. Just you take the time and you keep this sheet all season and you figure out what is your game plan. And I think by doing that, you put a little bit of the onus on, not a little bit, a lot of it, the onus on the goaltender to figure out, okay, what is my game plan? How do I want to play these situations? Everywhere from positioning within your own zone to 2-on-1s. How do I want to play a 2-on-1? How is my communication with my defenseman and the coach? How are we going to play these 2-on-1s? Is my D-man going to pinch over early and force a pass? Is he going to slide? What's happening? So it forces a goaltender and forces a team to start thinking about, okay, how does this work? Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? And it's funny because I'll give this to guys, and gave it to a bunch of OHL goalies a couple weeks ago at that camp in Finland. And first day I said, hey, there's no right or wrong answers. Just write down, how do you play? And they didn't really know. So by forcing them to become a little bit more of a student of the game, by forcing them to build this foundation again of them saying, okay, this is where I'm going to stay, or this is where I'm going to stand. This is how I'm going to play. Now that's going to change over time based off of their strengths and weaknesses and ups and downs, but it at least gives them that foundation, which again leads to consistency. Okay, so with positioning, we talked about angle before depth. You hear this play inside the blue. Well, why are we doing it? The game has changed so much. It's a lateral game now. Things happen so quickly. We can't be old school, come out and be ultra aggressive. Let the game come to you. Don't chase the game. You don't have to chase the game. And less is more. A point that I made up on the ice as well is if your goalie has a strategy, it's kind of sticking or pain point right now within goalies within the NHL. You have a lot of practices where guys come down right down the middle, and they're going barring in every single time. So a goalie is going to counter that by how? Being more aggressive, right? But by being more aggressive in the practice doesn't necessarily help him to what he's going to do in a game. I had one of us, the statisticians out in Ontario, do some work for me, and he went over 1,300 games. And in those 1,300 games, it was like 75,000 shots. Okay, and I asked him, how many shots come from this area right here? Because I don't know how it is in other teams, but we'll do drills in Dallas where we put out a cone, and the guy goes around the cone. We were like, shoot from outside. And he comes right down the middle, and your fourth liner is going in thinking he's your first liner. And they get so much time, right? So we looked at this, and he said, how many goals or how many shots come per game? And the average is 6% of shots come from that area. So that's 2 per game on average that come from that spot. So that's where the goalie dilemma is right now, because he's looking at you coaches and being like, shit, if he's watching me and I'm kind of playing like I would in a game, he's going to say, well, he's not on. You don't have it, kid, right? So he comes out, but that doesn't necessarily help him. So that's kind of the thing that we're doing right now. So just understand that if a goaltender is playing a certain way, maybe just ask him about his strategies or what his game plan is, and just try to be understanding or helpful of what's going on. In conclusion, this is how we roll as goalie coaches and when we do our video work. Skating, and more skating. If there's anything that I can, you guys take away from this is just make them skate all the time. Think outside the box. The game is constantly evolving. You guys are smart guys, smart girls. Don't get into this mindset of like, well, they're goalies. They're freaking weird. Don't talk to them, okay? You guys know what you're doing. And make sure that goalie has a game plan and some type of positional frame work. It's no different than your team system. And with that, my friends, that's all I got for you. So I'll be around all day, and we'll hang out and talk shop and have some fun. Thank you.